Vision FM with your hosts Rev Ted Woodruff,
Era Parisian,
and me, Nick Humphreys.
Virtual Vision FM,
Your platform to all things spiritual.
Hey, and welcome once again to Virtual Vision FM. It is Sunday, and it is 1 o'clock here on the West Coast, and it's a gorgeous day once again, thank God. We really do live in paradise. I want to bring in Ted Woodruff, my wonderful co-host, right away, and find out what he's been up to. We are trying to get Keeley into the webinar platform right now. That is proving to be a challenge. You know, what's up with this technology stuff? It's supposed to make life more easier, and sometimes it just goes sideways. So we will work behind the scenes to help Katie out. And in the meantime, Ted, what have you been up to?
Well, good evening, Era, and good evening, listeners. The usual sort of busy, full-on week. One of the most exciting aspects, and it's exciting for me, and if it's not for you lot, then hey, so be it. But we've got progress going on at Turns, the Namaste group. As people will know, I'm developing what I hope is going to become a centre of spiritual excellence and a holistic centre, and the fencing was put up out the front this week, which may sound trivial, but to me it's a nice start, because it starts to change the appearance and the aspect of the property, and knowing what else I'm going to add out the front. It's a visual at the entrance to the property. What is happening out in the rear is equally exciting, and I've been sort of switching in my mind between the idea of something a little dramatic like a teepee wigwam, a real life teepee wigwam, and or a yurt, and I've been swinging between the two, and at the moment I'm back on the yurt idea because they're very colourful and they're Tibetan and lots of flags and colourful doors and canvas and stuff. So that's in the physical aspect of it. And someone said to me the other day, actually, there's a lot going on here, as though it was very soon in the new year and soon after my mother's departure for other worlds. And hello, in she came. That was interesting. And I looked at him and I was like, well, it wouldn't be any other way. It would be disrespectful not to get motoring on it all. And this vision has been in my mind and my head for so many years, and it was something certainly that my mother was 100% plus behind me for. And so it wouldn't be any other way. So it may be a little surprise for people that it's taking shape so quickly, and there are so many events going on at Turns, and but it's a delight to me, because each and every tutor that comes in and presents, for example, this week the mindfulness course was started with Keeley, and we had a second Violet Flame attunement workshop on Friday during the day, and it's very touching for me to see this happening, that the fruits of my labour and the groundwork that my mother had put so much gentle support. She wasn't sort of battering doors down or whatever, but she was just there as that matriarch angel figure, and it's in her memory that, as much as anything, and my passion and vision to get this going, that I'm doing. So it's and as Lee's saying, and this guy's on my side and with me. He's an awesome guy with his wife Emmy, who were very special at the time of mum's transition. We were going at a perfect pace and perfect change, which I couldn't put that better. So often I said that Era's words are my words. In this case, these words are my words. And when you've got friends like that, it's such an enormous support, Era and listeners, because no man's an island, and I have a passion, I have a vision, but when you've got really top good people with you, it gives you a lift. It just absolutely does. So a great week. Fencing going up, more plans for the gate, and yurt and wigwam and courses and events, and something going on most days, but with key days where I have bit of time out, feet up, spend time with Maxie, and chill in my own space, because I actually do like my own space and my own company and being quiet and not talking and not seeing anybody, and recharging my batteries. So yes, as always. And I see Katie's with us, so shall we say hi and see if she's audible?
Hi, Katie.
She is.
Hello, everyone.
Yay!
Hey.
We have.
Talk about homophobic.
It's been tricky with the technology. Sometimes it works perfectly, and other times, you know, it just wants to be difficult. But we overcame that. Good for you. And it happens to all of us, let me tell you. I can't tell you the times it's happened to me. Just with getting back to what you had said, Ted, is I really do believe, and maybe Katie can confirm this in her way, that the energy on the planet seems to have accelerated to some great degree. And I think that those of us who are actually actively doing this kind of work, we're seeing everything kind of explode on the path in a good way, not explode to smithereens, but explode and expand. And there's so much newness coming into the work now, I think. And I'm enjoying that aspect. I mean, I have groups that are being booked now, right, left, and center on different things people want to know about. It's really a remarkable time. Katie, what do you think about that?
I've certainly found from the 28th of December that the people that are in really important times in their lives, numerologically wise, certainly I've done like 9 shows now, and I would say 90% of my calls and to the home and private readings that I do have been the number 1s, the number 5s, and the number 8s, who are all at important times in their lives, seem to feel as though they can feel the wind, literally, the wind of change behind them. Now, I've been waiting for this year for 5 years because I'm in my career year. So I'm wanting to go back to America, and I wasn't in the career year until yesterday, till my birthday started. But I could feel it from even the beginning of January, where I was getting the wind of change, really wanting to push me, as if to say, this is your time to go forward. We're going to push you, and then we're going to sort of give you that journey, and we'll give you the vehicle, and then it's up to you to turn the battery and for you to go. So it's I've never been taught. I've only ever been taught by Spirit, so I can only give it you from a child's point of view, or someone who's really basic. I don't know anything. I'm just taught by Spirit. So for me, I call it the wind of change. Does that sort of make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And I have to say, Katie, I think you and I are cut of the same cloth, because I'm only taught by Spirit too. You know, that tends to happen when you're born this way, right?
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Anyway. So
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, in the bio, and I hope everyone has taken the time to visit Katie's website and learn more about her, because she is an absolutely fascinating energy. You are a 3rd generation psychic medium?
It's at least 3rd generation. My mum was the eldest, the youngest. My dad was the youngest, and I was the youngest. My brother was 18 years older. So by the time I was born, practically everybody had died. So I only ever heard my mum talking about my grandma doing it. So I can't go any further. So I know I go at least 3 generations back. But doing the numerology, which I only went to a comprehensive school, so I don't know why they gave me numerology to do. Doing the numerology aspect, I actually sat down with my only surviving relative, which is my sister, and actually part the family in the middle. So you had 3 of us that were the intuitives, and then you had the 3 that were the managers, that were the master number 22s in numerological terms. And so it was, it explained to my sister, who doesn't really, she's analytical, logical, technical, and I'm the emotive, intuitive. So we sort of have nothing in common. But when I explained and showed her on like a map basis the dates of birth and how the family was literally split down the middle, not by anybody not liking each other. It was literally, one was the manager. So my mum was the manager to manage me in the spiritual way down this journey, and my dad was the compassionate one to show me how to do it. I never cease to be amazed at every day is a learning curve, but that's certainly the way for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Totally. It's really interesting because I've heard some people claim, and you're a very good example of that, how it runs in the gene pool.
Yeah.
And for me, I was adopted, and when I found my birth parents, nobody in the family claimed to have this ability. So I feel sometimes like I just dropped out of the sky and landed here, and this is what I do. So it's
well, what I would do there, because I'm nosy, is that I would take your adoptive parents. I would take the dates of birth of your adopted parents, the dates of birth of your real parents, and to actually see if it is, as you say, you feel as though you've been dropped here, or there is you get. The spiritual line can come down the managers, like the 11 and 22 are the master numbers. So if your mother was a 22 but she didn't see or hear spirit, what she would have been brought here to do would be to manage you along that path. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes.
But it could be, because I've actually had this in this last week or 2 weeks, whereby the adopted parents and the original parents were together in a past life, and actually you were meant to come to the adoptive parents and not to your normal parents. Does that make sense?
It does, and I can understand completely why it happened that way. And you talk about the master numbers as well. I am an 11, and I don't know if there's any other master numbers in the family at all, but that's really quite interesting. And I also.
And after this call, we'll go into it because I'm so nosy. But
Yeah.
it really is interesting. And when you can see someone who sits opposite you, when they come for a reading, and you can actually show them the dates of birth of adoptive and their own parents, and as to how they've come together, it actually they're at peace because they know that actually the adoptive parents were their real parents. Their paternal parents were only to bring them into this earth.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It's really quite strange too how people, like my adoptive parents have both passed away. My birth mother, I don't have a close relationship with, but I do with my birth father, and he was all new to this. He thought, he was freaked out by it in the beginning, and now he's slowly coming around. He's really finding value in the work that I do. So it's interesting, and I'm not sort of like wanting to take up the time talking about me, because that's not what the show is all about. It just
Don't get carried away.
It's just showing what Katie is able to do numerologically, astrologically, psychically, clairvoyantly. I mean, she is amazing. Now, Katie, I haven't really worked with you, and I certainly have been watching you on Facebook quite a lot, and you are quite popular, so we're very pleased that you are on the show with us today.
That's my pleasure.
We do have callers that are waiting in the queue. I don't know, do you want to go right to callers? Or?
Yeah, ready to go, yeah.
Okay. I'm excited for you guys. Here we go. Area code 207. Who am I speaking with, please?
Hi, this is Tom.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Great.
You're calling from New Jersey, correct?
Maine.
Maine. Okay. So do you have a question for Katie?
Yeah, I'd like to get actually, I wanted a spirit reading.
Okay. Before you say anything, I do spirit readings. I tend to focus on people past, present, future, and past, present, and future. But, however, I just would like to say to you before you say anything, okay, You must have been thinking about this person and how they passed, because they're showing me reflections here to do with a hospital. And I also feel as though you must have felt this person's either arms around you or in their presence. But there's something whereby you need to let that go. This, whether or not they were mistreated in hospital, or you felt that they weren't having the correct treatment, or they couldn't get to hospital. There's something to do with hospital. And I want to say to you that although I want to say that that person, whoever it is, because they're not showing me who it is in spirit and is okay, it's almost like, and as I say, I've never been taught, but it's almost like you're stopping this person, not from moving on, but there's a connection, you can't let it go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay. So what I would say to you is, they're showing me to let go of the past, but also I'm being shown a patience here. Now, I'm not actually sure what they're trying to tell me here. I'm going to give it you as I've got it, because I'm truly spiritual, and I want to give you what I get. With regard to bringing love in your life or having love around you, it's almost like you've got barriers up. It's almost like reject before I get rejected, because you can't go through an emotional turmoil that you would have gone through with somebody that's passed. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Right. Okay. Now, it shows me you as someone who is very practical, very down to earth. Money and work is very important to you, but you can be quite closed with your emotions. Now, they're showing me a house here, or that are you wanting to move, or have you lost a house due to a split or a divorce?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I want to say there's some fresh energy coming in with regard to a move. And if you haven't got anybody by your side at the moment, I would say let the barriers down and let somebody in. If you have somebody to your side, a wife or a partner at the moment, again, I would say let them in. It seems to me that you have got a barrier up with regard to actually letting somebody into that emotional area. Does that make sense? Can you give me your date of birth?
January 27th, 1959.
Oh, that makes you just a month older than me. So let me have a look at it. So I've got 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 25. Yeah, you're a number 7. So for you at this moment in time, 2 7s 40, you're actually in the relationship year. So it should be that you would have more contentment if you're with somebody, or if you're not with somebody. Literally, like with me, you can be single at the beginning of the year and you can actually be married by the end of it. Do you have a partner to your side at the moment?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this would be the year. Are you actually married to this person?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Are you actually married to this lady?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so for you this year, this would be the year for you to either, if you're wanting to move house, you couldn't really wish for a better year to move, because it's a very optimistic year this year. So to me, I call it the Jupiter year. It's growth and expansion. But for your own personal year, it is a year of moving home or working from home. So if you're wanting to move home, certainly this year would be the time to do it.
Oh, good.
Okay, I do feel as though there is some fresh energy coming in. You're a very traditional type gentleman, and I would say for you it's time to sort of be more content, particularly when you've moved. It'll be to somewhere where you feel as though you've either been before, or there's a connection there where you feel as though this would really where you would want to sort of end your days when your time comes eventually, not at the moment. Does that make sense?
Well, we wanted to move out of this state.
You will do. You will move. There's a move coming in around you. There's some fresh energy coming in. I'd say within the next 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months. But what I would say about you, you are very practical, very down to earth. Can you give me your partner's date of birth?
August 30th, 61.
Sorry, what was that again?
August 30th, 61.
Okay, so you've got 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. Right, so she's a number 1. As I said before, there's a lot of people that are at really important times of their lives are coming towards me that are 1s, 5s, and 8s. So your partner is actually in the period of time whereby reviewing and reflecting on what she actually wants. She'll need a bit of her own space and time on her own this year. But actually, once you have actually come to a natural ending where you are living in this state, you're meant to move at this particular time. So you're actually following your intuition. I would say by the time I get to round about June, I would have expected you to have moved.
That's
Okay.
good, huh?
But there's part of you, the problem that I've got with you particularly is that things go round and round and round in your mind, and you do tend to worry. I would say, certainly, I only ever give the truth. I feel at one point in time, and it may have been a couple of points in time, that you've actually thought of giving up and it got you really down. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. I want to say to you, by the time they're showing me now, I would say July, I would have said you should be moved. So you've been able to take the validations that I've been giving you, yes? Yeah? Okay. So I would say massive changes coming in for you and for your good lady. But she seems to be quite stressed at the moment. Is this because of the move?
Excuse me?
She seems to be quite stressed at the moment. Is this because of the move not going ahead at the moment? She seems to be struggling.
It's probably finances, and we can't find a place.
Okay, right, okay. It seems to be, so for you at the moment, because you're in the year 6 and it is the relationship you're in, and that's why you've got the barriers up at the moment. So we need to bring a bit of contentment in. I would say just try and let it go. I do see you moving. I don't have a problem with that. You seem to be a lovely guy. I've got a lovely energy around you. If I did your astrological chart, you would have a lot of water in there. So although you come across as someone who can cope and, you know, you're very, very grounded, inside you are incredibly sensitive and you've not been sleeping. Is this correct? Or there's been something going around in your mind about trying to balance money or move money even. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. My mind goes round and round constantly.
Yeah, okay. It is showing at the moment I've got trying to move money or balance money, and I've got an obstruction around that area, but you have come to a natural ending where you are, and although it is showing I've got more money going out than there is at the moment than coming in, it is showing here that within 2 months, certainly I expect you to be on your way to moving. But please make sure when you do move, okay, and I do see money coming to you, so can you make sure when you move, it may be taking a risk on an area that you might not think is for you, or a house that you think isn't for you. But I would say don't go into this wearing rose-coloured glasses. Go into it wearing clear-coloured glasses. So check everything before you move. But it does actually show some money coming into you.
Oh, I will. We definitely
Okay.
will.
And the house that you moved to, as I've said before, they're just reiterating it here. The house that you moved to, there will be that connection whereby you may stand outside the front door and think, this is it, even before you've gone in, or you will feel as though you've been there before. Do you have a son or a younger male to your side?
No, I don't. I have
Right, okay. Can I just take that slightly back there? Right, okay. Was it a male that you're asking about that had passed over and would have passed very quickly or tragically?
A cousin.
Who was it, sorry?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I want to say this guy would have been somebody who was very focused on where he wanted to go in life, what he wanted, he would go and he would get. He was a determined guy. But there was something about him, he hadn't been right for a while. Had he told you that or kept it secret?
Albert.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Right, okay. Right, I'm not sure what he's trying to say here, that either he struggled not wanting to let go or you didn't want to let go of him. Is that the problem?
Yeah, he had a lot of problems, yes.
Okay. What I want to say to you is he has noticed there's something that needs either repairing or tarting up on the property that you've got. Can you take that? That needs painting or repairing?
Yes.
Okay, right. Now, he's showing me here, would you have raised a glass to him either at the funeral or recently? You had a drink to him?
Could you repeat that, please?
Would you have raised a glass to him either at the funeral or just recently, either Christmas? There's a raising of a glass when you're thinking of him.
Yes.
Okay, right. He's showing me here that he has been around you, so you must have felt him. Have you felt him?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, that is him. So what I would say to you is just talk to him because he's there. He knows that you've got a decision to make, okay? And the decision is what's going on around you at the moment is just rocking your confidence a bit. And everything in your life at the moment is sort of same old, same old. And you keep, what goes round in your mind is you keep thinking of him. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does a lot.
Okay. Well, I want to say to you that the message that I can give you here is that he is showing within the next 10 weeks. I wanted to go 8 weeks, but he's showing me 10. So I'm very honest. I'm going to give you 10. And that things then start tipping in your favour. And he's telling me here that no matter how bad things are at the moment, you will be okay.
Oh, thank you.
Does all that reading make sense to you? Because I just give what I get.
Did that make sense, Tom?
I'm sorry? That makes a lot of sense. Yes, it does. And it's a big relief knowing that.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So he's around you, but try not to cling on to the fact that you. It's almost like he needs to be let go. You need to. He sees you. He's around you, but don't put the intensity around the situation. I don't know how other two phrase it. It's almost like he wants you to let him go and get on with your life.
Okay.
Okay, honey.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much for calling in, Tom. Hope that was helpful.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Laura.
Good.
Thank you, Jim.
Oops.
Pleasure.
I hung up on him. Sorry. That was awesome, Katie. You give so much detail and so much information in a very short amount of time, which is absolutely phenomenal to watch and to listen to. Lee in the chat room here at the webinar, he made a comment saying that you're very good, and yeah.
It's I don't know when I start off. I don't usually like doing spirit readings purely because I've lost everybody, and when somebody starts crying, I feel at a loss because I want to make them feel better because I've been where they are, and you have to emotionally keep the shutter. Well, as I say, I've never been taught. So for me, I emotionally have to keep like a shutter down. So sometimes I'm worried that I come across as a bit unfeeling, whereas I have to keep that going or else I can't do the reading. I don't get the information. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ted, I think you had a question for Katie.
Yes, I do. Just before that, something very interesting came out when you two ladies were talking, that in the field that you operate in, you haven't been sort of trained in what you do per se. And do you know, it works for me, and I so resonate with that with what I do, because although conventionally, I've said this for years, conventionally in the UK, you have to, for what I do, healing, hands-on healing, you have to be regular, get certificates, have insurance and all that. I've always said that we've got natural healing abilities without the essential need to have them in order to do it. And the sadness in some ways, although I see that the regulations and whatever are appropriate for people who may not have the same intent as whoever, but it's just very interesting because it's a natural born gift, blessing, delight, whatever, you know, and it crosses all areas of spirituality. And it's just fascinating to hear you say that you haven't been taught, it's just there. And to my mind, that's the most natural, powerful skill and gift that is there, rather than being taught it. You know, it comes from the heart, it comes from the soul, it comes from spirit, it comes from the other dimensions, and it is pure and it is raw and it's unadulterated, and it's a question of the skill with which you interpret what's coming through. There is no telephone line to the great God and the energy, you know. So I wanted to share that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not used to doing this, but of course, hey, here's the opportunity. I'd be delighted if you would just do a reading for me, Katie, with whatever you feel you get from me. You know of me probably, and you know we have a mutual friend.
I know of you. I know nothing about you, so just in case anybody thinks, you know, when I make friends on Facebook, I don't check people out or anything, because there's no point. If they want to come towards me, they will do. If they want a reading, they'll come, or if they want to, you know, just be spiritually attached to me, or they want to be attached to me because I work on television. I understand why they connect, but I never check up on anybody. So what's your date of birth, Ted?
21st of February. And then I should mumble the date of the year, but it's 1962, my dear.
You're still younger than me, Ted.
Okay.
Well, you know, like I said to you before, that it's 90% of my readings are people that are being drawn to me that are 1, 5s, and 8. But as I say, I've never been taught. And you're on number 5, okay? Same as our good friend Simon Ludgate. And you are a warrior for the underdog, and this is why for you particularly it's almost like the Joan of Arc. You're a type of person that is a natural healer by way of communication, so people come to you and you actually, through talking to them, because I don't actually know what you do, Ted, but when you speak to someone you automatically make them feel at ease. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally, yeah.
And the year that you're in at the moment, where you are at this moment in time, would normally be a very slow-moving, hard-working year, but with rewards at the end of it. However, you are in the global year of 2015, so for everybody, particularly to do with your career, Ted, you will be given lessons in learning to manage people, learning to manage money, and learning to manage your career on a long-term basis. So whatever you're doing now, you would be saying to yourself, do I really feel like doing this in 5 years' time? Is this where I want to be on a long-term basis? Wherever you're living, it would be on a long-term basis. So everything would be long-term. So to do with money, it would be, if you have any spare, then it would be to invest it on a long-term basis, particularly to do with children, because that's lucky. And particularly for you, it would be a year whereby you would be learning a lesson again. You'll learn these through your lifetime, but you will be learning this again, whereby it's patience, realistic structure, realistic goals, patience and flexibility. Now, the thing with you, Ted, is that you can be quite self-critical about yourself. And in this particular year, whereby you are doing things on a long-term basis, particularly in a global year 2015. It would be a year where I would say to you, do not work so hard. Don't set your goals so high that you can't reach them and then you feel critical about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, and as I look at you, you are someone who's very open-minded, but you do like proof. So there is, you know, there is the spiritual side, and also it's like two sides to your character. You're very analytical, logical, technical, and in a group of people, you like to be seen as either in charge or the main communicator, but also you are very good just working on your own. And particularly for this year, to do with if you're sorting out any long-term career plans, it would really be, you should be feeling, because the 5 really are being pushed forwards, and you're one of the 90% that are coming towards me. And I mean, you need to be in a job where you are dealing with people and helping people. So again, I say, Ted, although I know of you, I don't know anything about you. So you would have to have a job whereby that you are dealing with people. I do think that you think of things before jumping in, although one of your lessons is patience. I do think you do think before you jump in, but particularly this year you will be, whereas 2015 is like really the Sagittarian arrow where it goes right up, and really taking risks this year on long-term things that may change your career path. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your life, actually, your life, you must have been persecuted in a previous lifetime for actually doing any spiritual work, and in this lifetime they're bringing it out in that you sort of manage people and you stick up for people because you would have been persecuted in a previous lifetime. So again, it's very much like this Joan of Arc that you've been, that's coming out in this lifetime. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know anything about you. I haven't really got time to check on people. But last year would have possibly been a time whereby you would have been, the test for you last year would have been for you to learn to trust people, and possibly, you know, even in this occupation, you have to be very careful with people that you work with and who you trust. And you possibly had quite a few lessons in that, but in this year particularly, it will be to do with money, it will be to do with your career, and it will be to do with everything, absolutely everything, where you live, who you're living with, everything based on a long-term basis. But certainly you would have, your life has always been learning to live with the creative and the dramatic. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can have the massive highs, but also you can have the massive lows. So again, I've got two sides to a character here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I
yes
hope
doesn't seem to be sufficient, actually. Yes, and spooky would be disrespectful. Scary would be wrong. It's just what you're being given, the intuition and the message and what the whatever is just truly amazing, because you're just spot on in every department. I can tell you know, last year and the lessons learned is absolutely spot on, and I knew everything that was going to come out of your mouth was going to be so spot on, and I'm not, and this proof thing, you know, open-mindedness, totally, but I like to see it with my own eyes, feel it with my own body, and then I do believe it. And I've said that for years about it, that very practical and down to earth. And yeah, it's long term. What I'm going to be doing here, it is relating to money and the positioning of money sensibly, having got a legacy from the passing of my father the year before last, and my mother very recently at the end of last year. And the leadership and the being in charge, but equally like my own company. It's almost as though you've been sitting on my shoulder for the last few months listening to what I'm saying. I mean, that's just totally amazing. Totally amazing.
I want to say that as well, Rick, for your mediumship. I feel as though, although you were quite, that's the only thing I know about you, Ted, is that you were quite happy on Facebook with regard to your mum, but I have to say, from a spiritual point of view, that although you were quite happy to let her go, it's almost as though I've got this little boy not wanting his mum to let go. But I would say to you that your mediumship abilities this year particularly are going to go through the roof, okay? You will be guided to do something. You will be guided to do something on a spiritual level, and you're either signing something or completing something, or there's a contract here. What either you're waiting for. I want to say there's just a little bit of patience behind that. I do feel as though, I don't do a lot of mediumship as I tell you, but I do feel as though your mum and dad are together. They have met each other. They are together. But I feel as though with you at the moment, I feel as though I need to sit down, or I've just sat down and spoken to somebody with regards. I've got the cards on the table time coming in here. So it's almost as though I've got you wanting to set boundaries or speak to somebody. I'm not sure if this is to do with your mum or property or something, or you've just had to sit down and talk to somebody and set out your boundaries. And does that make sense? I don't know.
You better.
Well, Hera's chuckling on two accounts, the mediumship aspect, because we've had this ding-dong over the years that I say, but I'm not a medium, and she said, oh, but you are, Ted. And I tell her that she's a healer, and she says, no, I'm not. And I say, but you are, Hera. And only 24 hours ago, I was discussing something privately with Hera about setting boundaries with somebody, so that's absolutely mind-blowing, that aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this year, particularly for you, I would say big changes coming in and to take risks. I also want to say, okay, I'm not sure what I've got here. Were you previously married to anybody? I'm not getting that.
No.
Right. Okay. Were you going to get married and you didn't?
There was the proposition involved, but it didn't turn out that way. But marriage doesn't
that's the
feature
evidence that
strongly.
your mum's giving you, that she's with
right.
Dad. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Okay.
Maybe we need to develop that a bit. I'm not fully on that one, to be honest.
Okay, and there's something to do around a property issue where you want to go, that's it, I've had enough. So I'm not sure if you're wanting to move, or I'm not sure if this is to do with mum and dad's property, but they are showing light at the end of the tunnel with regard to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in essence, yes, with one property, yeah.
Right, okay. It is showing light at the end of the tunnel of that, and it's been showing that you're thinking of that, and it is showing money coming in from that as well.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. It does show that you feel as though, pardon the expression, Ted, bit of a chip on your shoulder with regard to love aspects and obstructions around you. So are you not wanting to let anybody in, or is it just that you've not met them?
Both, kind of, yes. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of both. Yeah, it's yeah. To say both would be right. You're both right on both counts. Absolutely. Not prepared at the moment to let that in after a relationship, but oddly enough, that previous relationship is knocking around. So yeah, both aspects of what you said. Thank you.
So if I said to you there, Ted, that the previous woman that you would have either thought was the one or shared property with, she would have either been moody or quite jealous, quite cutting with a tongue, and you've managed. There's something to do with balancing money. So if you only just managed, I would say this split would have been acrimonious, and there would have been either gossip involved or somebody talking here to do with a money issue. Was there people, were you and her sort of scrapping over money issue to do with her? Now it's getting a bit personal now, isn't it? I better stop.
No, it's okay. No, it really is. I'm an open book to this. Yes, there were money issues with her, let's put it that way, not so much with me. It's kind of complicated. It was complicated and still is less complicated now. Yet jealousy huge, and you said something else that was spot on. Yeah, no, you've got it. I'm an open book, Kelly. I don't mind that because those that know me will know, and those that don't won't get it, will they? You know, but you're spot on with her.
Truth around the relationship breaking down was somebody wasn't speaking the truth, and things got routine. Does that make sense? But I think she had emotional issues that go way back, possibly to childhood. Can you take that?
Totally, 100%.
Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see if I can get anything else for you.
Spooky. Ah.
It is, Ted.
Isn't it? It's like they see within your mind, your soul, your relationship, you know.
Yes.
Okay. I want to say, do you speak to your dad? Literally, can you feel him and speak him and see him?
Well, actually, it's more my mother, but I do communicate with my father last thing every night, as I do my mother, and that. But as you said that, my mother touches the back of my head. As you said that, somebody touched my head there. I swear to God. Okay, so that's interesting, because he may just be coming in at a different angle. That's extraordinary. That's the first time I sent to my father, because he wasn't, I didn't think, and now I know he wasn't in quite as open to the spiritual. He didn't diss it, but he didn't, he wasn't on the level that my mother was, or is.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if this is on a father link or it's your link. There's a trust issue with regard to a loss of money that you were either going to go to court with or you went to court with, and it made you ill. Yeah?
Yep.
It's frightening, isn't it, Ted?
Yeah, spooky girl.
I'm loving this.
Okay. You need to forgive, however or whatever that was surrounding it. Spirit is saying we need to forgive and let that go.
Okay.
Right? But it did get you rather stressed, didn't it?
Yes.
And I want to say, if you've not got the thrill of a chase of a relationship around you at the moment, I would say watch out for one coming in.
Marvellous. Hey.
And although it shows you trying to keep everything going at the moment, it is you that won't commit, Ted.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the end.
Hands up. Well, that's marvellous. That is actually so spooky. And there were moments I was going to go, oh, behave, will you? Because it's like, right in there. But that's awesome. Yeah. No, I'm an open book, and I have no essential secrets about what's going on, and to people who are listening, and people who know me, and people who don't know me. But yeah, you were 100% on everything there. And it's almost like I say, you're sitting on my shoulder,
Kenny,
watching the world as I experience it.
Katie, so accurate there. I loved it. I'm going to be reminding you, Ted, every inch of the way. You know I will.
I just give what I get. So sometimes I'm like childlike because I've never been taught. John, can you just switch my plug in, because I'm going to lose my power. Good job, my husband's here. It's just or my power, which happens to me. That plug can come out. Yeah, because I'm so innocent, and stuff tends to come out in a childlike way. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, but I don't hear it as childish coming from you. Personally, you sound like a lady giving a reading, and so it's incredibly spot on. You know, I don't hear it as a child. Like, although, you know, children have the benefit, don't they, of the world not having beaten them, and then their openness and whatever. But yeah, no, I don't know whether anyone sort of said that to you in the past, that it comes across like that. I don't see it. It's one of the most sort of open, profound, accurate descriptions of me, certainly, that it's absolutely mind-blowing, and I received everything, and Era's just been chuckling away, because Era and I have things in the vault, and we discuss things, and she's, you know, she's a bit of a star, and you know, she knows some things. You just went bang on the money, and the mediumship aspect is I'm not going to hear the last of that one.
Oh, yeah, to go through the roof this year, most definitely. So if you're thinking of doing anything around that line, it would be go for it.
Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left, Katie, and there is someone in the chat room who would like to hear from you, and his name is John David Parker. His birth date is April 17th, 1948. And we have to welcome Nina Ashby to the show, another co-host of ours. Bless her. Hi, Nina. Hope all is well.
Hey, Katie, Era, and Ted. Big hugs to you. Sorry I
Hi.
arrived late, but I arrived just at the right moment to hear Ted revealed. I love it.
Katie has been dazzling us with her ability. It's absolutely phenomenal. So one more, and then we have to let Katie go. Today's only an hour. We could spend like a whole day with Katie, I'm sure.
Wow, absolutely.
It's my birthday weekend, that's why. I would have done the 2 hours, but I don't see my husband very much at all. We both work away from home, and it's my birthday. It was my birthday yesterday, so I've been out and spent the day with my children in Manchester shopping, so he's very kindly come round, and we're just going to have an hour or two before he has to leave.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Katie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been good.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good.
Old skinny Marink, or young
Thank
skinny
you.
Marink.
Wow. Still got a long way to go. Still got a long way to go.
You're beautiful no matter what.
Yes, well, I didn't really want to diet in the first place, but it's part of where I'm going. Spirit give you the urge. I want to go back to America, and they're giving me the urge to take certificates in stuff like Reiki and belong to societies, as you know, and also to look more sort of appealing if I get offered anything with any television work. They're giving me the vehicle, and I've got to put the petrol, the oil, and the water so that I can drive it, and that's part of the petrol, oil, and water.
Walk in your talk, honey. Walk in your talk.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're doing John David Parker, right? His birthday. You're going to do his grid.
I've just been doing it now. Because I can talk and still do it.
I know that.
So, are you there?
He's in the chat room, Katie, so you won't be able to hear him.
Okay.
He'll hopefully prompt us with some responses in text. So.
Okay, so I've just gone a blank screen. Okay, right. So it's very strange that just as I've dealt with the first caller, this caller is also the same type of person. So they're very generally very wise, very honest, but very, very many layers to them, and someone who would need their own space, their own time to re-energize their batteries. I feel as though at the moment this particular person is going within himself, hiding away or wanting to hide away, and either there's a decision to come up or he's got to make a decision with regard to some changes. He's got massive changes coming in himself. He should be very psychic and intuitive himself, and possibly have seen or heard spirit himself. What it is showing me here is that there's a decision needs to be made, but I feel as though there's either a fear of making this decision or not wanting to make the decision, but it is showing success around it. So it's almost, you see, this is a type of guy as well who will overanalyze situations and likes to be given proof. But it's almost as though like something's coming to an end around him and he has to make a decision, and it's does that make sense?
Well, I'm just waiting. He may have to type a little bit here. So just keep going, Katie, and we'll sort of check in from time to time.
The year that this person's in at the moment, again, just like the other gentleman, it's everything to do with the home, the house, the family. And when I look at his home, it's almost as though he's come to a natural ending where he's living at the moment. So I think he's possibly tried to do things to the property, but it's almost as though there's a decision, again, a decision that's got to be made with regard to something. But it's the confidence. He's lacking the confidence on taking a risk, doing something with it at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Yeah, he's saying yes
I
to this.
someone say yes or no, and of course he can't say yes or no, can he? Because he's
Well,
tight.
he's typing yes, so
Okay,
it's a
so he can take that. Well, I want to say to you, just take the risk and do it, because it is showing I've got success around this. And I feel once you've made the decision, then you've got massive changes coming in that possibly are, well, I would say a couple of years where you've been waiting. So it's when you make the decision, when you take the risk and do it, that's when the changes come in, and they are massive changes coming in for you. Again, for you, needing to be given proof, so there's an analytical, logical, technical side to you, but again, there is a spiritual side to you. Part of your main area is to take risks and do it, and I think that you're just frightened of either upsetting somebody or parting with somebody to make a decision, if that makes sense. But this would be the year to do it, and it does show you also you're going back to a memory of either something, either a contract or email or text message, or something. You're going back to a communication. But again, if this is what you are going back to, and this is what you have to sign or you have to bring up into the open, like a kettle of worms here coming out, I want to say, although it feels as though I've got an obstruction, really go for it. And once you have made the decision, then the changes start coming in. But it's almost as well here, there's a fear of getting, there's something to do with money in it at the end, and I want to say whatever it is, you'll be okay. So if there's a fear of losing money, and I'm rattling on because I'm just giving you what I'm getting, I want to say that it's showing me a balance of money eventually coming in, but then it shows you sort of going within yourself. It's like you want to go forwards, but you don't want to go forwards. Go forwards.
You know, he is saying yes to everything you're saying, Katie, and he says, I need to do more, you're right. I think we need to stop there, though. It's we only have 2 minutes left of the show with you today, and John David Parker, I hope that's been helpful to you. Just by you saying yes to everything she's saying, it's evident that it was. So I think that's wonderful, and thank you so much, Katie. It has been wonderful having you on the show and spending time with us, and I hope that we can do it again in the future, because you're amazing.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and Ted, Nina, words for Katie, please.
Oh, big thanks from me, thank you. I mean, I had a long reading and an exceptional one, and I've said privately to a friend of mine that I don't think, well, I haven't ever had a reading as accurate, profound, and on the money as that, and I'm quite skeptical about having readings, because a lot of people know me around the area, and so it needs to be someone who knows next to nothing about me for me to have proof. And yeah, too many hits, everything was on the money. So my heartfelt thanks to you, Katie, and it's nice to see you, meet you, talk to you, engage with you finally, and anyone who's a friend of Simon's is a friend of mine. So yeah, big thanks from here. Thank you.
Pleasure. Give £1 to charity and it'll bring you luck, and it'll bring, as you put the £1 in the charity box or whoever you want to give it to, it brings you luck if you think of me, and it brings me luck as well.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you, Katie. We look forward to having you again. You are a star.
My pleasure.
And we love you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And I'm just going to close up the blog talk portion of the hour, and we're just going to stay on for 5 more minutes on the webinar, just for announcement of the special presentation that's coming up quite shortly. So just let me play the outro for the blog talk portion, and that will be the end of the show, and we'll see you next week. But stay tuned for the special presentation with Trance Medium Nick Humphreys. We'll be right back.
hear from you because you matter.
Virtual Vision FM.
Your platform to all things spiritual.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, so you've been listening to the wonderfully amazing Keeley, celebrity psychic, and now we know why she has that title. Absolutely amazing readings today, and unfortunately, well, fortunately for Katie, she gets to spend time with her husband right now, but unfortunately for us, we had to let her go after the hour. Now, we're going to close up shop here very shortly and make preparations for our live pay-per-view demonstration with international medium Nick Humphreys, and he is going to do a trance mediumship demonstration that is like no other, let me tell you. He did tease us last week with a little bit of a demonstration, and since then he has actually provided the picture of two hawks, the spirit, the native spirit that he does channel through. And it's amazing to see how his face changes to accommodate the features of Two Hawks. So if you haven't seen that, please go to Virtual Vision fan page on Facebook and have a look at it. Nick will be back, Nina will be back, Ted and I will be back in about 25 minutes. So if you have not registered, go to the registration page, link that is on the Virtual Vision fan page, and get yourself registered for this phenomenal event. We know there is a lot of free stuff out there, and more power to everyone, right? But when it comes to something so in-depth and so authentic, I think it's worth $10 to watch. So, you know, it's $10. You get someone so pure and so authentic. It's absolutely dazzling. So hopefully we'll see you back. Thanks, Nina. I'm glad you showed up. I know that you've had a hard day, but we're just going to take a bit of a break now, and we'll be back with Nick Humphreys at 2:30 PST.
All right.
All right?
See you soon, everybody.
Bye, everyone.